I can't say enough of how this center influenced me and the benefits that my wife got from it. I thought nobody can take care of her like me, and I knew I had to do something for my family. It's in their hearts that they want to provide the care for the people that deserve it here.
Welcome to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. Thanks for tuning in today. Our special guest from MDA, Pat Cusick. Pat, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
And from the Lancaster firefighters, Dave Fouch. Dave, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you, Mike.
And we want to make sure that, I want to put this out, Dave is here on his own time, so that's a disclaimer for everyone. MDA has been very strong in the community, and we talk about Fill the Boot, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But Pat, let's talk a little bit about MDA and your position and how you got involved in this.
Yeah, well, you know, MDA, the Muscular Dystrophy Association, really what we're working towards is to, save and improve the lives of people that are fighting muscle disease. There's probably there's a little more than 100,000 nationwide of people that are affected by muscle disease. And what we do is we provide advocacy and awareness, as well as critical clinical services, and then research for everyone. And research has always been the cornerstone of what MDA does. I mean, our goal is to find a cure for muscle disease, for muscular dystrophy. My role in the office is, I'm the executive director of the Central Ohio District, and really just kind of oversee the fundraising efforts as well as our clinical services. We have two clinics, one at Nationwide Children's Hospital and the other one at OSU Wexner Medical Center. Both two of the, really world-renowned for muscle disease research. Right now, MDA has 5 projects going on, 5 grants that are funding research projects at Nationwide and OSU, at about $750,000. So that's $750,000 that's being applied right here in Central Ohio.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And really how I got involved, actually about 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with Becker muscular dystrophy myself. So obviously this is, a passionate cause for me, and MDA helped me through some tough times right after that diagnosis, and wanted to give back to an organization that gave back to me, and help folks that are going through, similar times and that I am, and kind of understand where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're glad you're here today to spread the word. We're going to talk about Fill the Boot with Dave Fouch, who's been with the fire department for 28 years. And the event is coming up. Go ahead and give us the dates that's going to go on, and tell us a little bit about Fill the Boot.
It's going to be on Friday, August 22nd and Saturday, August 23rd. And the locations are going to be Center Alley, which is downtown Lancaster. And then the other location will be Edie Road, and we'll be there in Riverway Boulevard, collect at that intersection. So we'll be there both days from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m.
I want to point out just on that they volunteer their time. The firefighters, they're not on duty while they're out there. They volunteer their time to do that to help MDA, and they've been involved in this for this is actually the 60th anniversary.
Yep, this is the 60th year that Fill the Boot's been going on since back in 1954. The IAFF basically proclaimed that they were going to partner with the MDA until a cure was found. And it's been an amazing partnership since that time. I mean, 60 years, it's hard to name things that have lasted 60 years at this point. In that time, the event it's grown every year. The first year in 1954, they raised $5,000 in donations. Last year in 2013, nationwide, $26.3 million was raised by our firefighters going down the street, holding that boot, and the community supporting them as they go by. So I mean that's huge. I mean, Central Ohio alone, we did more than $325,000 was raised last year. Fantastic. And I know Lancaster was one of our more active departments and did a great job. Dave, you're saying 4th in the state last year? Or?
We were 4th in the state in the total amount raised, which is good for a
department
our size.
Yeah,
well under 100. be able to collect that much, yes.
Now, do you remember the first time you did? That you went
Yeah.
out and had the boot?
Yeah, I was basically a rookie and had no clue what I was doing. And, the senior guys showed me what to do, and I had a good time.
Yeah.
And, really enjoy it. You get to interact with people out in the car and stuff a little bit. And this community, we were very fortunate because this community's always been very generous to us and has always helped us out. So that's a lot of the reason why we're able to collect the amounts that we do.
Are there some of the same guys still there that you started with that are doing the boot? Are there new guys coming in?
There's only 2 guys that are still there that were there either before I started or started with me. So everybody, we've got a lot of new guys we're getting out.
Yeah.
Well, not that new, I should say, but
Yeah.
we haven't been able to hire for a while. But we got probably, most of them probably have 6 or 7 years on now.
And I know there's a lot of activities that go on prior to this. You do something at Rooster. Well, the whole group does.
Yes.
You guys actually work at Roosters. Again, you're on your own time doing all that. But talk a little bit about the Roosters program. What's going on there?
Well, we have a good time with Roosters. Dusty's the manager there. She's great, and all the girls there are great working with us and everything. But we go in there, and it's normally on St. Patrick's Day. We go in there, and we bartend, and we help the waitresses and serve people and everything. We have a raffle. Last several years, we've raffled off a helmet. That's a fire helmet that's painted up as an OSU football helmet, and that's always a big hit. And then people donate money, and then Roosters gives us 10% of the money for that day. They donate that to us.
Wow,
So
that's neat.
this past year, we collected $3,200 roughly at the Roosters event.
That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
a great. And what? That's on St. Patrick's Day again this
Normally
year?
on St. Patrick's
Okay.
Day, it will be next year.
Okay.
And we collect there we're there from like 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. at night. And I had to split up in 3 shifts because so many guys want to do it.
Sure.
I really don't have a trouble at all getting guys to work at.
That was a question I had. Is it kind of like, are the firefighters expected to do it, or they just do it on their own? I mean, do they?
Well, when they first come on, we sit down and talk to them and tell them what our expectations are of them. But it's up to them whether they follow through or not. But we
Right.
got a lot of good guys that
Mhm.
are willing to donate their time and help us out.
When you go out there for the first time and you got your boot, I mean, what are you thinking about? You got to be thinking about, is this individual? Do they see me? I mean,
Yeah, it's interesting. You have all kinds of things happen out there, but the things we have to watch now is there are so many people on their phones and texting that we
Yeah.
got to kind of be aware of that.
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And that's why, we make sure we give them, lots of caution signs and banners, and then they have, their neon vests on to, be safe. Because
Right.
again, we know they know what they're doing, but again, somebody texting or not
Right.
paying attention, could, they need to be watched
Sure.
out for. So we need to, give it as much warning as we can, which we try and do, and they do a great job of getting the signs up and doing all that. And I think nationwide last year there was only one minor incident reported as far as an injury nationwide for all the Field of Boot
That's pretty
events.
good.
And it's because, they do a great job of watching out for themselves and putting up the signage and making sure people know what's going on. And that's why we like telling folks about it, because that day they know when they're driving, they can look out for it at certain intersections.
Question that people always ask: how much of the money goes back to MDA?
For Field of Boot,
Yes.
everything they raise goes
100%.
goes back. And then MDA, I mean, as far as nonprofits go, 77 cents on the dollar raised goes to the programs that we support. So the other 13 cents, that's the administrative, but everything else, that 77% is going right to, research, to summer camp, to fund our clinics.
Talk a little bit about summer camp.
I mean, I could talk all day about summer camp. This was my first MDA summer camp this year. It was, I believe, June 8th through June 13th.
Is it here in Lancaster? Or is it?
It's actually in Ashley, Ohio. So up a little further north, just about, 40 minutes north of Columbus. And I mean, it's the best week of the year. That's what we call it. That's what the kids call it. And it really is. I mean, honestly, it's one of the best things I've personally been a part of. These kids, I mean, they come in and they're smiling ear to ear for a week. The whole camp is set up to be accessible to them. It's 100% wheelchair accessible, fishing, boating. They have a 60-foot climbing tower that they can take, a child who's in a fully motorized wheelchair, and they get them harnessed up, and they can get them up to the top of that, and I tell you, they giggle the whole way up. It's fantastic.
I'd be screaming. So.
And yeah, exactly. So this year we had 74 kids. that came. For the families and the children, it's completely free to them.
Right.
It's my job is to raise the funds to take care of them. It's about $800 per kid, but that's what a lot of the the fundraising goes towards.
Sure.
I mean, you think of MDA as a national organization, but we raise locally and we fund locally. So, I have a budget to fund the programs that we have right now here in Central Ohio that we need to hit to keep those programs, and that's our goal.
Is it difficult to do that? I mean, from a standpoint of, do you like to do that? And is it...
I mean, for me, I love to do it. I mean,
Okay.
it's because all you have to do is think about summer camp, and that's all the motivation you need. I mean, and I know we talk a lot about camp with the firefighters because they come out. I mean, Dave's been coming up to camp for 20-some years. He knows more about summer camp than I do. I mean,
Do you remember the first time you went to summer camp?
Yeah, it was a real eye-opener, because you go up there, and there's firefighters from all over Central Ohio there, and you get to see what the money goes for. And you get to see the looks in the kids' eyes, they look forward to, this is their Christmas. This is the thing they look forward to most, for the whole year. And when you talk to parents and stuff, and it also gives the parents a little bit of a break also.
Yeah.
But it's Recreation Unlimited, the camp at Jimmy Crum.
Oh,
helps
Jimmy
start.
Crum, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where they hold it every year.
Now, when you say they're from all over Ohio, are there distinct sections or groups?
yeah,
or
in Ohio, how it works, there's a Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati office, and each office has their camp. I think there's I want to say 2,000, or no, there are 400 camps nationwide for the kids. I think 3,600 kids total went to camps last year. So Cleveland has their camp, Columbus will do one, and then Cincinnati has theirs, and then that northwest corner of the state there, Toledo, they work with the Detroit office, but they also come down to our camp.
Now, do you ever get with other states and talk about how they do things, or do you
Oh,
visit
yeah, I mean,
conferences or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we get together as far as MDA leadership. We have conference calls and meetings all the time, and then our healthcare service coordinators are the ones that run. They're our camp directors, and they're in charge of that, and they constantly meet and compare notes and talk about experiences and how we can get more volunteers, train the volunteers. I mean, we have volunteers that have been coming back for 15 years. And there's people, so we had 74 kids, so we had 142 volunteers because each child has a individual counselor that is with them 24/7 for that week to make sure they're taken care of. We have medical staff 24/7 all week. And it's people that they're taking a week's vacation unpaid to come back to this camp year after year. One of our nurses this year was a counselor for 5 years and then has been coming back as a nurse for 3. They meet the campers, they fall in love, and they come back.
Do you ever have any of the campers come back? I mean, like a year later, 2 years later,
Yep.
come back and say thanks for helping us, or just say hello?
Oh, occasionally they'll stop into the office. I mean, they'll stop up back at camp. I mean, people once they've kind of been there, they want to come back. I mean, for camp, the kids are eligible from ages 6 to 17. And we call the last day of camp graduation, and it's a bittersweet moment because they want to come back.
Sure.
They want to be there. It's where their friends are. I mean, like they wait all year. We have kids that have a 6-month countdown online that they have like a website where they count down for 6 months to camp.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, they want to come back, and we'd love to have everyone back. We can't have everybody come back at once, but yeah, they always stop into the office, and then Wednesdays is. Always our VIP day at camp, so we get a lot of people coming back for that. That's Wednesdays is typically when our firefighters will come up, our sponsors will come up, and just to see, like Dave said, where the funds are going and who it's really helping.
Now, is there a website we can go? We get JT to put up on the screen later on that people can go to, and can they donate online? Or
you can donate online. You can always go to MDA.org and then search Central Ohio or Columbus, and it'll take you to the section about us. If you want more direct information, we have a Facebook page, so it'd be Facebook/MDA Central Ohio is where you can go, and we always post all of our firefighter events, any fundraising events coming up. We talk about camp. If you want to see pictures of camp, they're up there. So that'll be either MDA.org or Facebook/MDA Central Ohio. Both good places to get information.
Let's just think outside the box here for a few minutes. You have unlimited funds. Just hypothetically, you have unlimited funds, and what would you guys like to see? What would
Well, the main thing would be a cure for
There you go.
the disease. we've been working all this time, and they're getting closer and closer on, some of these diseases. And when you meet the kids every year, and then when you go back the next year, and there's a few that aren't there because they passed away, that's when it really hits home, and that happens, every year we go up there. So.
Yep. No, I would agree. I mean, research. My job. My goal is not to have a job with the MDA someday because we've found a cure. We've eliminated it. We've improved people's lives. I mean, what are they saying? Like with research, it's so important. In the next 5 years, more drugs will be released or experimented with to treat or cure muscle disease in the next 5 years than have been in the past 50 years combined, which is huge. So that means all of the, the Fill the Boot for the last 60 years, all the fundraisers that we do, it has been working towards something. There is progress being made. I mean, we've definitely improved the lives of, a lot of the young children that suffer from muscle disease, and, they're living, improved and fuller lives. And it's fantastic to see that a lot of this work is coming to fruition.
Right.
And a lot of it, I'll tell you, a lot of the research done in nationwide and in OSU is leading a lot of that research. It's cutting edge stuff.
One of the things we talked about fundraising, I'm going to go back to Roosters for just a second. We really want to thank Roosters for helping MDA out. But you mentioned earlier that there is an auction for a firefighter's hat.
Yes.
Painted like OSU?
One of our own firefighters will get a helmet, and one of our own firefighters paints it all up. He's a very good artist, and he paints it all up, and then we sell tickets, chances to win that. And then at the end of the day, we'll have a drawing, and somebody will win the helmet. And that's everybody. There's a lot of interest in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you're out and you're filling the boot, I'm sure you have people say, "What are you guys doing out here?" I mean,
there's been people thought we were trying to raise money to buy boots. I mean,
really?
We get all kinds of comments.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. We put the signs out and everything, but still, there's we try to advertise and everything, let people know, but still.
Now, how do you decide what locations, I guess, might be the next? Is it traffic? You get with the engineers department?
Basically, it's through the city.
Okay.
And now things have changed, that now we go through council to get permission from council to collect. And but in the past, we were only able to collect at the Center Alley downtown.
Is that I guess, legal issue, I would assume?
Yeah, well, they didn't just want anybody coming in, so you have to apply, turn in an application to be able to collect. And they're just wanting to be able to regulate it somewhat.
Right.
And that's pretty standard for most communities, is that they'll go through the safety director, through city council to make sure, because...
Have you ever had anybody say no? I mean, not like, but some others not say, no, you can't do that?
Yeah, there have been communities that have done that, they've just felt that it wasn't safe, that there was too much disruption to traffic. And for some communities, I mean, you get a little further out in the rural areas where it's 2 county roads crossing, and sometimes there's just not enough traffic to really justify them being out. But we've worked with a few cities this year. There were a big thing that comes up is panhandling. You'll have people that are panhandling, and then they're approaching cars and soliciting funds. So which is something that obviously poses a safety risk for citizens. So we have to work with the city councils to make sure when legislation like that is passed that it doesn't take our firefighters off the street, because they are doing charitable work. So, but most communities are very supportive of it. Said Lancaster is definitely one of our most active and supportive communities in Central Ohio.
Now, at one time, back in the day, I thought there used to be a basketball game between firefighters and police fighters for MDA, or was that for something else?
That was another fundraiser, and it was
right.
in the wintertime, and I'm not even sure what that race fund's for now.
I can't remember. I went to it. I mean, it was a good event. It was a great event. I just couldn't remember what. Any ideas about other than Fill the Boot? I mean, we have the Roosters again. We appreciate Roosters for what they do.
Just this year in Lancaster, earlier, I think it was April or May. I'm trying to remember which month. We had our Lancaster lockup, which is a lockup is an event where we bring, business executives, people from the community
I think
together.
we locked up JT. I think we did. We tried.
No, we tried. Well, next year we'll get you, JT. And this year we were at the Texas Roadhouse, which donated, their facility as well as all the food for everyone coming in, which was great. And then we had more than 50 people from the community that came and raised funds for us, raised their bail. So, it's a jail themed fundraiser, so we like to keep it light, And then The firefighters were our drivers or our officers. They went and picked folks up at work.
And
then
again,
took them
this
back.
was all off duty. They were all on their
All
own
off
time when they
duty.
did this.
And then the folks at Bob Boyd actually donated
Bobby
vehicles.
Doss.
Yeah, Bobby Doss. Donated vehicles that the firefighters then drove to pick everyone up. So, I mean, to me, that's just a great testament to Lancaster as a community, because we had the firefighters, we had Bob Boyd, we had Texas Roadhouse, and then individual citizens all coming together
Right.
for one event to help raise funds for MDA. You know, which is great. I mean, we've had that. Obviously, Roosters will do Fill the Boot, and you know, other than the Lancaster department, we have Greenfield Township will be going out for us. They'll be out over Labor Day weekend, the 30th and 31st.
Now, Dave, is there a little friendly competition amongst maybe some of
Well,
these?
we've got the advantage over them because of our numbers.
But, yeah.
There's competition throughout the state. I mean,
Okay.
we've competed with Newark and Zanesville, and trying
Right.
to, we always try to edge them out. So.
Oh, sure. Now, is there a goal set for this year? I mean, a monetary amount that we set, or we just?
For Central Ohio, we're looking to beat what we did last year.
Okay.
We raised just under $325,000.
Wow.
So yeah, we'd like to top that. Hoping somewhere around the $350,000 range would be fantastic. Yeah, I mean, Ohio, all told, through the
Right.
3 districts, has one of the strongest Fill the Boot programs in the country, and a
It's
little
gotta make
over
you
$1
feel
million.
good too.
It
I mean,
does.
It's gotta make you feel really good.
It's great. I mean, that's the best part of my job. I get to go to summer camp, and then I get to go around to different fire stations and meet the guys and get the tour, and it's great. I mean, that's what I do, is I go around thanking people for their support, and it's a great job. I love doing it. So.
That's fantastic. When we talk about using all your volunteer time to do this again, is it sometimes you wish you had more people to help you out? I mean, I know you have a limited staff at the fire department, and you guys do a great job, but sometimes I should think, gee, if we only had 15 more people, or if we only had
it'd be
20 more
great.
people, we could do this.
Because at certain times we might get a little thin on manpower.
Right.
Because it's also the summertime with a lot of people on vacation,
Sure.
so we lose guys that way. Yeah, there are times you wish you had a few more.
I know that we talked about where the money goes and all those things. Have people watched Ohio and said, well, this is what Pat's doing over there. This is what they're doing. I mean, we talked earlier about meeting people, but do you ever exchange ideas about?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's with MDA. It's very collaborative. I mean, we want best practices, things that work.
Right.
We talk to each other all the time. There's probably more emails than most people can read that go back and forth, with ideas, with successes, across the country, because that's what keeps everyone motivated and keeps them, getting out there and talking to people, is hearing the successes, hearing what, a fire department in Rhode Island did, or hearing about a lockup event in California that exceeded its goal. I mean, that's always helpful, and anything that another office, another district is doing that I can, bring into my office and apply and be more successful with. I mean, yeah, I'm always open to those
Always open
ideas.
to those
So,
ideas.
and whatever I'm doing that can help someone else, definitely share with them. So,
Do you ever get together with the firefighters afterwards and say, gee, maybe we should have done this, or maybe we
Yeah,
ought to
we
do
always
that?
have like a post-mortem, which is like the same thing we do after a fire. We go over, see what we could have done better, or what we can improve on, and what went right. We also do the same thing with MDA, and we also talk with other fire departments. Doug Vermont is our state coordinator, and he's a Newark firefighter, and we'll have meetings and stuff, and we get together, and we might, they might ask us for ideas, or we'll exchange ideas. Something I failed to mention is we also use our retired firefighters. Some of them are able to come out. Some of them may not be up to going out
Sure.
and collecting, but they'll
Sure.
go to the firehouse and be there and help count the money. And that way, if there's a fire run and everybody has to leave, we'll have people there,
Right.
to stay with the money.
Right.
So we get a lot of involvement.
Yeah, that's good. That's what's the fire force right now? How many are on the fire department?
I believe we're at 69 now.
So that's a lot of firefighters being out there.
That's a lot. Of course, a third of us are always tied up working.
Yeah.
And but yeah, we were up to 90 at one point, and then with the way the economy's going and everything,
Sure.
we've been reduced somewhat. But we're 69 now, and
It's just a great effort. Again, it's coming up. One more time, the dates that you're going to be out.
okay, it's going to be Friday, August 22nd, and we're going to be at Center Alley in downtown Lancaster, and also out at Edie Road and Riverway Boulevard at that intersection, and then also Saturday, August 23rd. At both dates, it'll be from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m.
Pat, do you ever get a chance to go out with them? Do you get a chance?
Oh yeah, I always try and come down and that's our job. They're out working for us. I'm gonna
Sure.
come down, drop off some water while they're out there in the hot sun, and chat with them. Lunch and snacks if we can do it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, because these guys, it's just not fill the boot. It's everything, like you said, driving for other events, coming up to summer camp. They do a hard job as it is, one that most people don't, wouldn't do, and to give that much more time to themselves on their own time is just it's fantastic. So love visiting with them. Like I said, love going to the fire stations and getting the tour and the trucks. And I have 2 young boys who like to accompany me as we go, and they always get the VIP tour, and they just love it. So it's been great. I haven't meet a lot of great guys that way.
Time has flown by. We just have a few minutes left. I do want to reemphasize that when we do fill the boot and all the MDA, the firefighters are on their own time. They're not on city time. They're doing this as a volunteer for MDA. Anything that you want to talk about before we sign off?
I know the Lancaster Force, we talked about their dates. We're going to have Greenfield Township is also going out over Labor Day weekend. They'll be out on the 30th and 31st. I believe they'll be out on 33 in front of the Meyer. And then I think, was it Victor and Kill Roads intersection? They'll also be there. Then we also have Pleasant Township will be out over that same weekend. And then I'm still working with the Bremen Rush Creek guys to get their dates set, but they'll be out as well. And then again, great community support. Over Labor Day weekend, the Bob Boyd dealerships will be doing a sale-a-thon for MDA, so a portion of every vehicle sold for that weekend will come back to MDA.
Our thanks to Bobby Doss, the GM at Bob Boyd Ford.
Yep, definitely.
Well, again, we appreciate both of you coming in today and talking a little bit about MDA, and hopefully we'll be able to beat the mark we set last year, and maybe we'll beat that national mark, and on the way to finding a cure for this. And Pat, again, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to come in and talking to us. And Dave, again, it's always good to see you. I always want to call Dave Darrell because I was on city council. Dave's father was in the electrical department, and so I sometimes I think I'll slip. But again, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys coming in. And
I'd like to mention one more thing, Mike. I didn't mention our amount last year we collected. We collected with the roosters and our fill the boot. We collected $21,450.
wow.
And that just once again shows you the great community support that we get.
Absolutely. So that's our goal. We got to beat $21,500, right?
Yep.
That's what we got to beat for this year.
So start leaving your change in your car.
There you go. That's it. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. And remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.
It's always wildfire season somewhere in America. Nearly 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by the carelessness of humans and could be prevented. But together, we can make a difference.
Watch what I can do!
Help protect the home of our forest friends.
Come on! You can do it!
Only you can prevent wildfires.
To find out more, log on to SmokeyBear.com.